Yeah.
Well, I think the future is silver and gold.
Silver and gold.
That's
No.
going to be the end.
Why do you think
At
that?
the end.
Sheena Singh joining us here at the
We
table.
go right past the intro with Sheena
Yeah,
because she's
Sheena
a
Singh.
she's a
Silver
family
and
member
gold.
here at that
That's what
channel.
I'm doing. I'm investing in silver and gold.
Really?
But that's going to be the future. After all the paper money is gone, it'll be silver, gold, and bartering.
Bartering. Yeah. And Mickeys.
And who?
Mickeys.
Mickey's.
I know people that what they're doing is they're buying Mickeys and they're burying them in their yard
Of alcohol, Sheena.
because Mickeys will be valuable. Sheena?
And people will live in caves, cave homes.
That's
on
right.
higher altitude.
Exactly. Until the women force the men to get good paying jobs and move out of the caves into deluxe condominiums. Right, Nikki Hayes?
Yeah, so let's backtrack. Now that we've gone to the future, let's backtrack to the present and
Present.
introduce Sheena properly, which is, as I said, Sheena's been here before and talking about her multicultural calendar, but today she's here to talk about a conference she's creating on response to 2012 and happening in October. So
Is that what we talked about last time? Was
multicultural calendar.
The
yeah.
calendar.
Oh, is it?
It was a calendar.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was the last conference we did.
No, the calendar.
No.
Oh,
Well, let's talk about the next conference,
next one.
That
Right.
Wisdom Forum, your company is.
Wisdom Forum. And it's really, well, the conference is called, 2012 Gateway to Your Future, right? And you've got some awesome speakers coming in for this. I mean, Greg Braden alone is worth the price of admission. But you've also got Colin Andrews, John Major Jenkins, Ti Caine, who we're going to have on later in the show. It's going to be awesome. And Jose Arguelles, but I guess he...
Well, he's passed away, but we are going to be honoring him at the conference.
Okay, great. I wonder why... So what's the idea of this conference? Tell us the whole... What spurred you on
What's your
to
vision?
do this? Yeah.
Well, what sparked this conference was the, there seems to be a lot of interest in the Mayan calendar that it's supposed to be the end of the world,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of fear that's being perpetuated through movies and people, and I have to say that I myself was bought into that.
You bought into the fear?
I bought into the fear, and I am the norm.
You're the
I
norm.
consider myself, I am the norm of the general population. So I thought, well, there needs to be some re-education done in this area, because either we live out of fear or we live out of love, which is knowing that we are supported, that we have the power.
Mhm.
And so that's why I did this conference and got these people together to give us another point of view, from a scientific point of view, from a research point of view, and just not like a airy-fairy kind of thing, but really more substantial evidence of what's really going on Earth, on the Earth level. What are the geological changes happening? What are the consciousness of people that's already being shown on a world level? I mean, it's all coming together. It's quite apparent that something is coming to some sort of a crisis point.
So
And
what does 2012 represent for you in this?
I think it's going to be a change of consciousness. It's interesting, we call it the end of the Mayan calendar. Mayan comes from the Hindu word Maya, which means illusion. And it's almost like the last 2,000, 3,000 years has been illusion. We are in a world of illusion, and these illusions are breaking down. People are waking up to what's not seen is now being seen.
Mhm.
The Wikipedia, leaks, the governments being toppled. There's an awakening happening. The illusions are breaking down, and I think, I don't know if it's 21st December 2012, but definitely there is going to be a new way of thinking and it's already begun.
Well, I see the dates of this are October 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of this year. And I've heard reports that, because they kind of had to figure out the Mayan language to figure out the calendar, and that there's it may not be, some people are saying it may not be December 21st, 2012, but it might be October of this year.
Yeah.
It could happen during your conference. Are you prepared?
What,
Are you going
what
to be wearing?
fun! What fun!
Are you going to be wearing synthetic fabrics?
No,
Because I
fire-
advise against it.
Fire
Sheena.
retardant fabrics. But really, for instance, the reason we have John Mater Jenkins is I invited him because he speaks about other world calendars. You know, the Mayan calendar is not the only thing that's existing. A lot of people don't even know about the Mayan calendar. So there's a Vedic calendar, there's the Hopi calendar, there's the Egyptian calendar. There's so many calendaring systems. I myself do the multicultural calendar. So
Does your calendar end too?
it ends on December 31st, 2011.
Uh-oh.
But then we start with January 1st of 2012.
Right. Okay.
There's hope.
But the common message amongst all these calendars, though, is there was a point in time that they all said of this
No, they did not.
epic time.
No. So different calendaring systems have different views of what an end of an era is.
Yes.
And the beginning of another.
Mm.
So in the Hindu, in the Vedic,
Yes.
it's the Kal Yuga, and that doesn't end on December 21st, 2012.
When does it end?
It's a few hundred years from now.
Still pretty close.
We won't be here.
But depicting cycles.
It's cycles. It's about cycles.
And that's
Yes.
what's exciting, because what I love about, and I'm supporting Sheena wholeheartedly with this. I'm really passionate about what she's doing, and I think it's exciting to think that it's not so much the end of something as it's just the dawn of a new era, and we can be excited about it. And how cool that we happen to be here on this planet at this time.
Yeah, and we chose to be on the planet at this time. There's no accident, you know. I think the level of awareness is so intensified at this point on the Earth's history amongst human beings that we haven't had that in, I think, hundreds of years. It's really a unique point of history.
I heard it's thousands of years. We haven't had it since Atlantis.
Yes, exactly. Could be. Yeah.
No, it's true.
And
I
then
know.
nobody paid attention, and down it went.
Well, that's I don't know what happened because
Yeah, we don't know what happened.
all I know is what I see on YouTube. But
Yeah.
apparently, what's happening, and we can see it. We've been going through a history where there's been a small number of people that have been, call them a ruling elite or whatever you want to call them, and then everybody else, the masses, right, that are subjugated to that control. And now we see, even with things like the internet and the architecture of the internet, that is not it's not a top-down, it's a peer-to-peer system, and it's like the whole, even the money that we're talking about. What Joe's talking about with the new kind of money emerging, we can do it ourselves. We do not have to rely on somebody else to create a system that we're going to use, right? It's up to
Exactly,
us.
yes.
And it's all peer-to-peer now.
Yes.
And even Facebook.
Yes.
Everybody's on the Facebook. Andy Warhol was wrong in the sense that we're not famous for 15 minutes. Now we're famous to 15 people, right?
Yes.
Whoever our friends are. Yeah.
Exactly. Our Facebook friends. And that's it. It's all a peer-to-peer system
Yeah.
now.
And once we feel that and feel that power, we can speak with more authority. We can speak about the things that we know are true for us if they're our direct experience. And there's an openness now that I think is very threatening to command and control people that need to manage everything. And this is a really different type of leadership that we're being presented with and invited to participate in. Everyone can participate in this,
Yeah.
which is
And
really
I think,
exciting.
doing conferences like this is really about giving people the tools to how to manage themselves, to build that muscle that we have not using, which is how do we say it?
It's been forgotten. And
It's been forgotten. What is the muscle, though? The muscle is that we don't think for ourselves. We don't. We always give our power away.
Yeah.
And what suppose a meteor strikes the satellites? What happens? You won't have any internet. You won't have any communication.
And they could go down.
Everything will go down. Then what are you going to do? So if you're so dependent on internet and communication, what are you going to do then? So I think we really need to now focus on an inner kind of strength, resilience, which we need to develop at this time. Because anything can happen.
Anything can happen. But no man is an island, right?
Exactly. And in North America, we are like that. It's a pretty, I find, I'm from India, but I find that you can be quite isolated in America. You don't even talk to people anymore. You go through Facebook or you go through, text
Texting.
messaging. We don't even speak to talk to our friends. So I think that I almost get a sense that we are going to go back to basics again.
I hope we don't go too back to
Not
basics.
too back.
Remember what Albert Einstein said when he was asked what kind of weapons they were going to use in World War III? He said, I don't know, but I can tell you what weapons are going to be used in World War IV.
Which is?
Stones. I hope we don't go back that far.
Yeah, maybe
Sheena.
not. I hope not.
Okay, so the conference is coming up. It's in Toronto. It's got great speakers. Now, tell us a little bit about it. Where is it going to be? How can people participate and that sort of thing?
Sure. It's being held at the Convocation Hall at UFT,
Okay.
which is a beautiful building. It's a circular building, and it will hold the energy beautifully when we gather together. We are offering 2 meditations, which will be live streamed free around the world. And Greg Braden will be, he will be leading us through that meditation, along with he's collaborating with Heart Math and the Global Coherence Initiative. And we hope to get 144,000 online meditators when we do this meditation, to sending out compassion to all world leaders, to every part of the world. And then we will follow it up. We will ask the participants to actually observe world events in the next few days and report to us on a blog that we've set up for this.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting.
Very, very exciting, yes. And then we have another free meditation with Ti Caine, which will also be broadcast free around the world, and that has to do with future visioning, where he will take us on this experiential process of seeing ourselves in the future.
And the world working for
Well,
all of us.
For each of us.
For each of us.
No,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of questions about that, but we're going to actually chat with Ti Caine in just a couple of minutes. So we're really looking
Yeah, and
forward
Sheena's
to
going to
that.
stay on with us too.
Oh,
so-
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Sheena,
Yeah.
okay. So,
So we'll see you there.
where?
At
In
the
the ideal
conference.
future.
Oh, at the conference, of
Yes.
course. Well, the future has already determined that I'll be there.
That's right.
Somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, Hugh's going to be interviewing some of the speakers.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Apparently.
Oh, cool.
I'm.
Yeah.
I just.
His people are going to talk to our people.
Yeah.
That's the way we do things here in North America. You- okay. Now, Sheena. Okay. So, going through this process of setting up the conference, and it's a big undertaking. It's a great idea. But what have you learned personally about 2012? Through speaking with people like Greg Braden and Ti Caine and all the other speakers, and your own research. What do you think is going to happen in 2012?
Well, for one thing, what I've through my research, in getting these speakers together and learning more about 2012, is that I think it's all about a change of consciousness that's going to happen, and it may be triggered by world events,
Yes.
but sometimes we need a crisis to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it seems that's the only way that human beings learn is through a crisis.
And what I find too is our language is changing. Like crisis doesn't have to mean a negative thing. That's why I love your outlook about Maya and Greg Braden's book Deep Truth. He's telling us that actually there's science proving that there have been humans around before war started, and that there were humans that actually lived peacefully. So this whole survival of the fittest myth is getting busted, and that we can actually collaborate and work cooperatively, and a lot of myths are getting dissolved, and we can create a world that works.
Yeah, it seems like that the future is going to be unity and collaboration.
Unity and collaboration.
Yes.
On the one hand, it does seem like that way. On the other hand, there's the whole, if you look at it from the conspiracy point of view, the global elite are ganging up to, to put us under their thumb with things like Project Blue Beam and all that kind of stuff. How do you see your way through that kind of fearful threat?
Well, I think that's why we're doing this experiment with this meditation, is to bust that. To see that our consciousness can actually change the way things are going.
Yeah, and in believing that, you're fueling it, and it gives it more power, because at the end of the day, I really do believe the world is better off than it's ever been. When you look at the technology we have available to us, and I think it's just us standing up and understanding the power we have. And
that's why we're doing this experiment, really, is to see the effects of the meditation. And people writing into the blog to see what effects did take place. What happened in the few days after this, we did the meditation.
Okay. Now, Sheena, let's give out all the contact information for people that want to find out more about the conference.
Yeah,
and maybe they want to join or, sign up. They want to be part of it.
Right.
How do they do that?
Well, they can go to our website, which is www.wisdomforum hyphenated. Make sure it's hyphenated.com. Wisdom-forum.com.
Wisdom-forum.com.
And it's on October 22nd and 23rd, not 21st. We're not doing that 21st.
All right. Well, I hope, if it happens,
it will
because
happen.
the rapture, which was supposed to happen earlier this year, got rescheduled, right, to October 21st.
Is it?
And then apparently October 28th. And you're right, the timing is perfect for this.
Yeah,
October 28th is the day everything happens all at once.
So we'll be prepared for the 28th.
Because everything's going to happen all at once. It's going to be quite
all
the day.
At once.
Very exciting. And I think also it points out it's not one point in time. It's already happening, and it's just growing and growing and expanding. And that's all our consciousness is continually expanding. So
it's a continuum. It's a continuum.
A continuum
of consciousness.
Of consciousness. Okay. Well, speaking of continuum, we are going to continue here. We are trying to reach Ti Caine right now, and so we're just going to slowly segue into that if we can. Until then, let's just do some more banter about the 2012 subject, because I've studied it a lot, Sheena.
Yeah.
And how's it going with the Skype over there, guys? What? Oh, you're trying to call him? Okay, so here's what I found out, because I've done a lot of research on it. And it's like they're calling it a singularity is going to happen, because as we know, at least throughout my entire life, every moment, every year, everything gets more complex. The complexity is just, I mean, when I was a kid, there was 3 TV channels. Then people talked about the 500 channel universe. And now with the internet, we have essentially infinite number of channels available to us. That's just one you think about anything. Think about how large the cities are. Think about,
But our own physical being is complex. We have trillions of cells operating. What keeps our heart beating? What keeps our eyes shining? We are complex. So I think if we understand that we are operating this complexity without understanding it fully, we turn on a switch. Do I care how it gets the light on? No. So when we start understanding the ease of which our life is created because of the complexity, change then becomes very easy, because we accept the complexity. But when we try to understand it and break it down, and the stress that creates, that's what really drags us back. So when we embrace the complexity, when we embrace the facts, we're spiritual beings here in this human form. And that's exciting to me, like when we can just ride that.
Well, what
and
I don't
embrace
understand, I'll tell you, and I think we're getting TI Caine going to join us in just a second here, but the thing about this complexity and what they call a singularity, right, is that if you graph the level of complexity that we've been experiencing, and it also evidenced by even the world population chart, right, which has gone like this. It's flat, slowly rising, and then it goes like this.
It's exponential.
It goes to the asymptotes, right,
Yep.
to use a mathematical term. That's what the singularity is. And I forget who calculated it. It might have been Ray Kurzweil saying that that's what happens in 2012, is that all that complexity goes vertical on the graph. And I don't know what's going to happen after that, because it would be nice if things would just calm down at some point. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Because I get too many emails every day. I don't know what to do with it.
But that's actually interesting, because Colin Andrews, one of the speakers at the conference, has spent his career studying crop circles. And his belief is that our human consciousness creates these crop circles and the messages in them. So you'll really enjoy talking to him.
Okay, but I saw little balls of light flying around those fields too.
Little orbs?
Little orbs.
You mean the trucks?
No, the orbs. Okay, do we have TI Caine on the line?
Yay!
Ty, welcome to Liquid Lunch here on ThatChannel.com.
Hugh, and hi, Nikki. How are you?
Hi, Ty. and Sheena's here with us, too.
Yeah,
Oh, great.
this is fabulous.
Hi, Sheena.
You really got your camera working well, Ty. I mean, very well framed.
Can you see me?
Yes, we can see
can.
you.
Oh, that's good.
Can we make
That's
it
cool.
go full screen?
I can't see you. I don't know how to open that part of it.
No, don't. You can't.
It's just as well we have
don't
no
that,
makeup on.
But
Okay. Okay, good. I thought there was something not working here. Great.
no, it's great. Great to have this. There you go, full
There you
screen.
go. Oh, this is so
It's like you're in the
exciting.
room with us, Ty. This is amazing.
Wonderful.
See? Okay, so now you're going to be speaking at the 2012 conference that Sheena's organizing. And let's just dive right into it. I don't know if you heard what we were just talking about, but what do you have to say about 2012, Ty?
Well, that it's a really exciting time, that it's literally the beginning of a new age. The reason the predictions end is not because the world comes to an end, it's because we get to now start creating our future and actually do that. We as human beings have the power. We always have had it, but now we're evolving to the point where we take the opportunity to create our own future. And it's a big responsibility. It's an enormous opportunity. And you can start on it like today. That's one of the things that I've been doing for 20 years is helping people to design and create their future. And we've always been doing that. We just haven't known how. We haven't understood that we really do have that power. So now the 2012 is really about the transition where the whole world wakes up and starts realizing it is time to create our own future. Humanity is coming out of our adolescence and childhood, which is, we've been there for thousands of years. And as you become an adult in life, you start to create your own life. As we become adult, spiritual, empowered human beings, now we get to create not only our lives, but our world and our future. So I'm really excited about 2012. And I was so thrilled to meet Sheena, to participate in helping people to open up and understand the connection to the future that they already have, and then to utilize that more efficiently. And like you were just saying, I heard you talking about complexity. It's an enormously complex world that we live in, but we're incredibly powerful beings.
Okay.
We get literally design and create our future.
All right. And by the way, you're in California, right? Right now?
Yeah, Los Angeles, Sherman Oaks.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Can you speak the phrase, Ty, the future creates the present? That's really what engaged me with your work, and maybe you could speak a bit about that.
Yes, for sure, love to, because it changed my whole life, gave me my whole career. That one phrase changed the course of my entire life, 32, 33 years ago, something like that. Because I started almost 40 years ago, I started exploring consciousness and healing and growth and how the mind works and how our world works, starting with the Silva mind control and the alpha awareness and meditation and healing. And I studied and explored and literally searched the planet Went to India twice to hang out with gurus to see if that was the answer. That it wasn't the right. It was interesting, but it wasn't the answer for me. And then it took me about 10 years into my journey. I found metaphysics, and that just changed the whole ballgame. And I found one particular wonderful teacher named Lazarus, who's a channeled being, who's just extraordinary. I've been hanging out and learning with him for 33 years now. And he talked about we create our own reality. And back then in the 70s, the Seth books talked about you create your own reality. They were sort of the real big source. Then Lazarus came along and started repeating the same truth, that we literally create our own reality. It's sort of that wisdom is there in every form in every wisdom tradition. There's a statement that reflects that we literally create our reality. In the Bible it says, had ye the faith of a mustard seed, you could move mountains. Meaning belief literally moves mountains. All traditions have a sense of we are powerful. Well, and one of my favorite quotes that you and I, Nikki, have talked about many times, from Teilhard de Chardin, who said, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And every person I've ever met, no matter what background, no matter what course gets that, feels it, resonates with that we are something more than what we appear to be just as mere human beings. So if we are spiritual beings, that means we're part of spirit, part of God, the goddess, the source, the is, however you relate to it. That means we are part of creation itself. Therefore, the metaphysical truth, you create your own reality. The quantum physics truth proves that our thoughts literally create the energy around us, the body that we're in, the world around us. It's all made of energy. And so that made sense to me. In the early 70s, I loved that idea. I create my own reality. We create our own reality. Let's play with that, explore that. And then I met Lazarus, and he started not only adding tools and techniques and ways to use that power that we have to create our reality, but then one day he explained this one concept that rocked my whole world. He said, oh, by the way, in the linear world where you think time flows from the past, the present, and the future, it actually doesn't. What actually goes on is the future creates the present against the backdrop of the past. Where you're going determines what's happening now, and the past is the story, the history that you just remember or believe was there. It's our relationship with the future that runs our life.
Okay, that's very. You need to think about that one a little bit, Ty.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to ask you, Hugh, what happened? I loved your discussion of complexity. We are definitely dealing with the complexity here now, and that's an important thing that we get to deal with and have to deal with in order to create healthy, happy lives. What happened in your brain, Hugh, or what happens when you hear the future creates the present?
Well, my first... I'm speechless. I don't know. No, Ty, the first thing that comes to mind is that whole thing about quantum physics, where in that quantum world, the whole time thing is different, and that future events or present events can even change the past.
Absolutely.
Right?
The whole thing is flexible.
Yeah.
The whole game we're in is flexible. So now, go back one more time, and I understand your confusion. When Lazarus said that the first time, I literally, in my body, got dizzy. I literally was like, oh my God, he just turned my whole world upside down. And I sat there being dizzy for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, and then I said, wait a minute, no. He didn't turn my world upside down. He just turned it right side up. The future has always been directing us, like with travel. When you travel, you choose the destination first, and then everything else you do after that, choosing that destination, is determined by what destination you choose. In business, Stephen Covey, I think it's one of the the best-selling or one of the best-selling business books in the history of the world, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Brilliant work, an amazing book. And the first habit is be proactive, do something, like keep in motion. The second habit, begin with the end in mind. That's how successful people create success. They're dreamers. They dream the end first, and then figure out how to get there.
Okay, so, but now here we are, people all over the world, as we approach this, at least this focus of 2012, and everybody's got a different idea about what they want.
Right.
Right, and when we think about free will, and we think about the tree of, well, you know, you get up one morning, you can go right or you can go left. If you go right, then you have a whole set of choices that open up in front of you, versus if you go left, you have a different set of choices. And so when you think about things that way, there are infinite futures that we could imagine.
Infinite.
That's right.
You know, how do we work back from that?
Choose which one you want. Like when you get up, you can not only go right or left, you could go 10 degrees off left and go that way. You could go over that direction and go out the door and go out into the world and have fun. You could go over this way and go out the window. There are infinite choices at every moment. We are choosing beings. That's what a consciously empowered creator does. Choose the future, then manifest it. And by the way, you're supposed to manifest it and enjoy it. Unfortunately, most people have been programmed to choose a mediocre future, manifest that, and then struggle for the next 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years or lifetimes. And all those choices are available.
Okay, so could it be then that at that stage, whatever future we see for ourselves is what we'll get?
Absolutely. Exactly, Sheena. And that's the point. That's what we're really coming into in 2012. The transition is, rather than just going along and coping with life or dealing with life or trying to survive life, we're now coming into the position where it's our obligation, just as when you grow up. When you're a child, you just deal with life and your parents basically handle everything. As an adolescent, you start exploring and looking at different possibilities, different choices, and then choosing. And as an adult, you choose your life, you choose your reality, and then you create that, and hopefully you create one that's enjoyable so that it really is a pretty good time.
So in other
That's
words,
what humanity is doing.
So in other words, you'll manifest whatever you've chosen.
Exactly. So then, and when we talk, Sheena, about the conference and about 2012, and so many people are focused on 2012, and 2012 isn't about 2012. 2012 is about 2020 and 2025, and 2012 is about the future. It's like, as we decided and created the conference, the gateway to your future. It's the gateway. It's the opening to our future. And the responsibility and the opportunity is to choose the future that we want to create. And then learn how, in the complexity that you were speaking about, Hugh, to learn how to work with the complexity to create the future that we really want. For ourselves first, you have to be a creator and create your own reality first, then for the ones you love, and then for the world. Which is why Sheena has built this incredible conference we're going to do. It's going to be so cool. It's going to be so much fun and so powerful, because both days, Saturday and Sunday, in the evening, we're going to do a meditation on Saturday. I'm going to do a meditation taking the whole group and everyone watching on the internet and everyone who wants to participate out into the future to not only meet your personal, awesome, healthy, happy, empowered future self, but also to go out into the future to see the world working, to see what it will be like when we as human beings own our power, our spiritual beingness, the love that we're capable of, and actually manifest that. What will that world look like so that we can see it and feel it and choose it? And then on Sunday, Greg Braden and along with the Heart Math people, Howard Martin, I think it is, going to do a meditation opening to the heart, opening to compassion, opening to love, also feeling that personally and sharing that with the planet. So they're going to be two enormously powerful and enriching, enjoyable meditation. We're supposed to be having a good time here. So, Sheena, yes, the opportunity to choose the future is literally what we're stepping into. And and your amazing conference. And thank you so much for gathering those incredible people, for creating the opportunity, for making it available for now over the world, because it'll be streamed all around the world, so people can, if they can come to Toronto and participate and be with us, that would be awesome. And if not, if they can watch on the internet, they can also learn how. I'm going to teach how to relate to the future, how to understand the future, and how important it is, how powerful it is first, then how to actually work with it, and then go there, visit it. And Colin will be talking about the amazing energies of the crop circles. John Major Jenkins is going to, not only does he understand the history, the Mayan and the wisdom of the ages, but his own interest in that is also what it means for the future. The wisdom in the past is not useful unless you take it and apply it in a really productive way to the future. So the whole conference is going to be about stepping through that doorway into the most glorious future you can have for yourself and that we can create for the world. So let me ask you once more, Hugh. Think about the future creates the present, and now look at what actually happens, enjoying the complexity that you were talking about. What happens in your brain now, we were like talking about this and exploring, when you hear the future creates the present?
Well, I'm thinking that something is happening, something good is happening. And Nikki and I were talking at the beginning of the show. She asked, you know, are things better today than they were, say, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 years ago? And we both agreed that it's an amazing world that we live in.
Yes.
Life's probably never been easier or offer more opportunities for people, and yet we're so paranoid. We're so, you know, fearful of things going horribly wrong.
Yes. And anxiety, and it's called stress, which is actually a lie. There is no such thing as stress. Stress is actually fear of something bad happening. But since people don't want to talk about fear because they don't know how to deal with it, they'll call it stress, and then it seems sort of clinical, and it seems like you can at least address it. But actually, most people. Okay, here's a question for you, Hugh. You're getting the significance of the future and the opportunity that we have, and even if you're in the most beautiful place on the planet, if you're scared of the future, you're not going to be able to enjoy wherever you are, which is the biggest source of stress on the planet Earth. So since Lazar said the future creates the present 30 years ago, I said that changes the whole ballgame. I don't know what to do with that, but at least now I know the way the flow of reality comes from the future to the present, and it's just the past is just a backdrop. And so I said, okay, I got to figure out how to work with that. What do I do with that? And it took me 10 years to figure out how to really work with that, how to implement that with all of the, I tried everything, breathing and bodywork and therapies. I studied every method of human growth and healing that I could find. Adding the future to it changed the whole ballgame. Instead of doing, like when I do healing work with people, instead of going back and talking about their past, which most models do, therapy, healing, most of them, okay, what happened in your past? Let's talk about that. The very first thing I do with clients is ask them, what does your future look like? And within, let's try this because we have the visual. Just try this for a minute. Hugh, I want you to ask me, I'm going to act like I am the regular person who didn't know, who hasn't learned what I've learned over the last 30, 40 years. I'm just a regular person in life, and I want you to ask me, what does your ideal future look like? And as you can see me on the Skype, right?
Yes.
So now, see how much you learn about me in the first 1/10 of a second after you answer that question. Before I even answer, and I'll answer, but see how much you know about me just in the first, like I've talked to thousands, tens of thousands of people now about the future. Within the first 1/10 of a second when I really start discussing with someone, I already know so much about them. So see what you learn about me. Just ask me, what does my ideal future look like? And see what you discover.
Okay, Ty, what does your future look like?
Ideal
future. What does your ideal future look like?
What do you know about me already? Could you see? I'm not sure how well you can see me. Could
well,
you
I saw
see
you pretty
my
good.
facial?
You were thoughtful about it.
And what kind of thoughtful?
You have no idea.
Clueless thoughtful.
You have no idea about your future.
Yeah. That's the okay. Let me ask you another question because this is so fun. I've been doing this for years now. How many people in the world, what percentage of the population, do you think are really clear about their ideal future?
Not very many.
What percentage?
Oh, less than 1%.
Yeah. Yeah, 3% have sort of an idea and have done some thinking about it and maybe done some writing, but less than 1% are really clear and important detail in the complexity connected to their future. Because there's a difference. What my whole future visioning work, what is about, is helping people not only envision their future, but develop a relationship with their future, a relationship with their future self.
And that's the profound difference I found, Ty, with your work. It's not vision boarding. It's not setting goals. It's actually my 95-year-old Nikki is with me all the time. And so even if I feel depressed, I can think, okay, what's going on in my future? And I see her as vibrant, healthy, having fun, playing. And it changes, it shifts instantaneously how I'm feeling to that place that I want to be.
Yes.
It's
And
very
you remember
powerful.
the very first time we talked, Nikki, and I mentioned the future, and you grasped it so quickly. You got the sense of, oh my gosh, that's right. The future, not only is it there, not only is it powerful, but it is influencing me right now.
Yeah.
It's affecting the way I feel right now.
Yeah, and I've always loved the quote, time is the only thing that keeps everything from happening at once. And in understanding now that I'm in the future all the time when I choose to be, it really brought it home to me, why that resonated with me.
Well, wait till October 28th, Nikki.
I know, I might go into the ether, but...
well, you will,
yeah.
and a few other things.
So, Hugh, I noticed this skepticism on your face when Ty's talking about creating your own ideal future.
No, that's Ty. Don't listen to her. There's no skepticism.
I didn't hear anything.
And I think it's coming from, because you've been interviewing a lot of people and get a lot of emails, is this whole idea of the conspiracy theory where things are being manipulated behind the scenes that we don't know about. That seems to be like a conflict?
Well, for me, I mean, I'm aware of a lot of different things. I'm aware of that, of all the conspiracies, and there's a million different ones, and they don't, they conflict with one another. And then there's the whole optimistic approach to the future. And there's the stuff that the Ty's talking about here today. There's also like the born again Christian view of the future where Jesus is going to come back and what's that going to mean, right?
Yes.
And so for me, I have all these different things in my head, and I'm trying to, and also Ty, I learned a long time ago, I'll never figure it out, so I have to kind of live with this kind of uncertainty and with all these different hypotheses and so forth.
There are so many different perspectives. You're right, and yes, Sheena, I understand. I don't sense skepticism in Hugh. I sense, I would know it's there because I deal with thousands of people. It's more a real openness, and what you're seeing, Sheena, is the discovery process of this whole new relationship with the future is amazing. It's fascinating. It's like me. I sat there literally, my eyes were probably going around like slot machines when Lazar said the future creates the present. I was literally dizzy. I'm not kidding. My body, I actually, oh my God, how do I ground myself and stay? It's that kind of a transition that's happening. And Hugh's a thinker, a deep thinker, understanding complexity in that first part of your conversation. So what's going on is an enormous amount of processing, trying to fit this all. And don't worry, you got time. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I'm still learning stuff about the future every single day. Every single day, cool new realizations happen. When Nikki and I have these amazing conversations, and Sheena, you and I have also, just talking about the conference and what can happen with the world and what's really going on with the future. So all those things that you're integrating, Hugh, it's understandable. This is a completely new way of looking at life. The future creates the present, changes the whole game of how we relate to life.
Okay, so can you please repeat that question again that threw Hugh off? What was that question? What was that thing that you asked?
I don't remember what your ideal future.
No, it doesn't throw them off.
Yes. And I've asked that question for thousands of people, and I now use it as when I first meet someone, I'm chatting and talking about the life and the future, and then I ask them, what does your ideal future look like? And within the first tenth of a second, as you saw watching me, I know, just like as I was acting there, they're clueless. So are they stressed in their life? Of course. They have to be. Are they probably dealing with some kinds of emotional and then often physical issues? Of course. You can't be scared of the future for 20, 30, 40, 50 years without having something go out of balance, something go wrong. Hormones out of balance? Of course. Hello. If you're scared for more than a few minutes, your whole body system goes out of whack. Try being scared for... So Hugh, what we were taking... And you were very accurate there when you realized less than 1% of the population are clear about their future. What does that mean the rest of the population, 99 or 97%, whatever, what do they feel almost every day?
Absolute terror.
Yeah. But since you can't talk about terror, you call it stress, because that's socially acceptable. You can say, oh, I'm just stressed out. Well, what's under the stress? And here's one of my favorite phrases in trying to find. So 33 years I've been exploring this depth, this intricacy of metaphysics, and trying to find ways to communicate that to everyone from, like, I work with 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds and have teenage clients and 87-year-old people who are on the way to their next future. So how do I make sense of them? How do I communicate? What is this impact of the future? And one of the things that I've discovered in looking at all those people and understanding what's going on them, or what's going on with them, is basically not only are they scared, but then they're trying all of these things, the positive thinking, or just being in the present, just be in the moment, or have faith, just trust, just allow. But all of us, before we even get here and in our early years, get programmed to believe that life is difficult, that life is going to be painful, that you're going to be tested, and you're going to learn all these lessons. And we know that. I've had clients who in the womb knew this was going to be a really painful experience.
Yeah.
So if you live with that kind of fear of the future every day, basically everything you do, until you, which is the reason that my whole focus is working with the future. And then I also go back and heal the past and change all the old beliefs and deal with the whole of life and the whole of a human being, all the way from our past lifetimes to our ultimate future, our spiritual destiny, which is reconnecting and going home to the oneness with God and the goddess and the source. That whole arena, but I always work with the future first. And what I discovered is the phrase that makes sense is most people are trying with their positive thinking or the just therapy, talking about the past, or just charging through and doing the best you can, or trusting, just allow and somehow trust that it's going to work out. Basically what they're doing is rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Which is a losing game.
What?
It's a losing game. And Ty,
Yes.
It's so funny. I was so excited to have you on the show and to introduce you to Hugh. And obviously you've proven we're going to have you back for sure. And
yeah, well, we're looking forward to when you do come to Toronto for the conference to get in here into our studios personally, and we can really do a good one.
Oh, that would be great. I already enjoy you, Hugh. I would love to meet you in person and be there. I actually watched your show and saw you guys in there in the studio. So yeah, I'd love to do that for sure.
Okay, great. So we can look forward to that. In the meantime, people can get ready for the conference coming up the 22nd and 23rd.
And how can people find you, Ty, personally, if they want to do work with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to. My website is futurevisioning.com.
Futurevisioning.com.
Yeah, so the whole process is called future visioning. That's what we're doing. We've always been doing that. We're going to do more of it, and that's the work that I do. Futurevisioning.com, and actually the conference. They can find out about the conference by going to www.wisdom-forum.com. There's a dash in there. Wisdom-forum.com, and in there's more information about what we're going to do. Oh, there's also a place that if your viewers and listeners want to start working on their future today, literally today, they can go to www.futurevisioning.com/2012
Okay.
and they can sign in there, and they can actually they can then download for free a set of worksheets that help them design their future. There's a 3-minute meditation that just helps you start to develop the connection with the future. And there's some articles and information, even some of Lazarus's information in there, just some fabulous stuff about our power, about creating reality, about the practical aspects, like Stephen Covey's, the business world understands the future. The business world is always working on the future.
All right, Ty. Listen, this has been great. Thanks for doing this today. We look forward to meeting you in person in October.
I'd love that.
You did really well in your Virgin Skype experience.
Yeah.
This is great. Yeah, I got the camera put together. It's very fun. I really
Yeah, you
appreciate
look
this.
great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thanks.
Okay, all right.
Really great meeting you. Nice to talk to you again, Nikki. And I'm so excited. And thank you, Sheena, for putting this whole event together.
Yay.
The 2012 Gateway to Your Future is going to be an amazing experience for us and for the world.
Okay. All right, Ty. Thanks so much. So futurevisioning.com, and Sheena, thanks for doing this. Wisdom-forum.com, and we'll see you all again. And well, we're gonna.
Oh yeah, this
we're
is
gonna do
continuing.
this
This is continuing.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back with Noble Kelly and Mitchell Gold and continue this discussion.
Or David Carradine. Is it David Carradine or Mitchell Gold?
You're
I'm
gonna
confused.
Find out in a couple of minutes, Nikki Hayes. We'll be right back here on Liquid Lunch, ThatChannel.com.